Obviously, I'm biased, but I do believe that today's three things in these topics are some that are really worth discussing. And I know that we have talked about many of these things before, and we're probably going to continue to talk about them again. But we're talking about pranks and boundaries. We're talking about the stay at home mom community and how. Okay, so we have a post here about pranks and boundaries. So this woman posted in the relationship advice subreddit and the Am I Overreacting subreddit. She says, my freshly ex-boyfriend keeps blowing up my phone after his hurtful April Fool's prank and our breakup. How can I cut him off without cutting off my entire friend group? She says, I made an Am I Overreacting post because I have been really emotional about this situation. Here's the context of why he keeps messaging me. So she's 24, he's 27. So she says, so me and my boyfriend have been together just over a year now. He's never been the pranking type, and we have explicitly discussed that I do not enjoy pranks or surprises. Occasionally, he'll do a little jump out from around the corner to spook me, and I usually playfully slap his arm and he laughs, and that is that. This completely came out of left field. Yesterday, he told me he has something serious to discuss with me, so we sat down. He genuinely looked like he was on the verge of tears. This man rarely cries, so already I was holding and kissing his hand, telling him it was okay. He shakily let out that he cheated on me with his best friend's girlfriend and that she is pregnant. My heart stopped. Like, I think I genuinely had a panic attack, tearing up and trying not to puke. He just sat there watching me, looking all emotional and apologizing over and over. I had been cheated on before, which he was very aware of because we have had extensive conversations about some of my trust issues and that we have been working through together. This played on all of my worst fears. Once I could speak, I told him to leave, and he did. Once I calmed down a bit, I called his best friend and asked if he knew about the affair and the baby. I figured he did. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't still in the dark because he deserved to know. He replied with, "Oh, F. He didn't actually do this to you, did he?" I told him not to, that this was a bad idea. I thought he was talking about the fact that my boyfriend knocked up his girlfriend and said, you knew in advance that they were having relations and told him not to do that because it would hurt me. He broke the news that this whole thing was a prank. There was no affair and there was no baby. I felt numb at this point. I just laid there and contemplated our relationship. I couldn't believe that he would think to hurt me as an attempt at a joke. I still can't. I didn't contact him at all, and he didn't contact me. I was waiting for him to show up and tell me it was a prank, but he never did until about 6 p.m. He called me and told me to visit my backyard. He had set up a table and made it pretty, which really isn't his forte, had takeout Italian food waiting for me, and a sign that said, April Fools in the bag. April Fools in the back. For a second, I was relieved that he did something so sweet and found myself clinging to it, but I still felt hurt. He grinned and walked up to me, kissing me and saying he couldn't believe I fell for it and that he thought I would know it was a prank. I cut to the chase and broke up with him. The whole day was just emotional whiplash, and I felt toyed with. I said that I didn't know if I could be in a relationship with someone who could lie to my face like that and think it was funny. He said it was funny and that he was sorry if I didn't get it. Okay. I have just been so overwhelmed and emotional over this, and I just want to know if I'm overreacting or not. He has never done something like this before, but I do not know if I can recover. Am I overreacting? So now he has left a total of 37 voicemails and probably hundreds of messages, and the number is only increasing. I need him to stop. He won't listen to me when I say I need space from him. I really don't want to block him or make this messier than it needs to be because we share a friend group. I don't want to be the reason people pick sides and things fall apart. Any advice? The fact that men that do these pranks get enjoyment out of seeing their significant others cry or be stressed or be emotional or be scared is wild to me, because why is that funny? Why is a woman's pain or stress or anxiety funny to them? I've already said how I feel about pranks. I believe that these people, these men that do these pranks, deserve to be broken up with. They deserve to be alone. And they can sit with that enjoyment that they had, that, they have that snapshot of the way that they made their significant other feel. And they should be able to sit with that for the rest of their lives, like immediate breakup like this woman did, because he's sitting up here like, you didn't get the joke, and he flipped it around on her like, why are you taking this like this? Why are you overreacting? And he needs to be able to sit with that. He needs to be alone. Many of these people don't deserve to have girlfriends. They need to be lonelier, so make them lonelier. That's how I feel about these pranksters, because this is not funny if you're making someone else the butt of the joke. If both parties aren't laughing, it's not a joke, it's not a prank, it's just mean-spirited, and it's just like you're being mean and you're laughing at the other person. That is not funny. And, sometimes men don't really get our humor. Sometimes we won't get theirs. I get that. But doing something like this, I don't know who this is funny to at all, outside of, some other prankster jokester type of men who enjoy seeing a woman being sad and upset. Sus hones in on this part. He said it was funny and that he was sorry if I didn't get it, and said pretty much immediately it was clear this was not forgivable, but this is unbelievably insulting. Begga Feet says she should tell him that breaking up with him is funny and she's sorry if he doesn't get it. No joke though, just effing karma. Remarkable C says, I love your response and hope the OP sees it. Chuck 60 says, he's the idiot for even thinking this was funny. The friend you called is probably on your side given his reaction. I'd block this jerk and move on. Sorry this happened to you. I hope your real friends stick by you. And to that, the OP says, yeah, he and his girlfriend are on my side. She didn't consent to being technically part of the prank, so she is unhappy with him. But I know that some people within the group are much closer to him than they've ever been to me. I would hate to lose them because they feel backed into a corner. But if they have to choose a side and they choose someone who is mean-spirited and happy to see their girlfriend anxious, then maybe they shouldn't be your friend anyway. An anonymous girl said to her, you're so much better off with a handful of ride or dies than a larger group of people who are only friendly to you because you didn't hold their other friend accountable. Absolutely right. That's not what friendship is really about. That's just having a bunch of people around that don't really have your interest in mind. Anyways, let me know what you think. This is how I feel about pranks. Periodically, we need to have these discussions because we need to know and understand that your pain, anxiety, fear, all of that is not funny. And when people do mean-spirited stuff to you and then laugh at you, they're not a loving, supporting boyfriend, husband, whatever. That's not a good friends group. They need to be left over there, and these people need to be lonelier. I thought this would be a good discussion question, posting in the 2X chromosome subreddit. She says, women in the Tradwife stay-at-home community who act smug and superior to modern and career women. She says, before I get any hate for this, I'll start by saying not all women in the Tradwife stay-at-home mom community are like this, obviously. And I have nothing but respect for people who are peacefully living their lives without hating on or judging others or acting annoyingly smug and superior about it. And truthfully, this could be just about anything. People who get into any type of community or way of living and then they look down on other people. That does get annoying. All right, she says, but sometimes it's so frustrating and toxic to hear all the judgment, smugness, and misogynistic perspectives when they make comments about modern, working, and career women. For example, a lot of trad wives / stay-at-home moms will say stuff like, I could never let someone else raise my kids. She serves her boss at work who doesn't care about her instead of serving her man at home who will protect and provide. Women who work are in their masculine energy, but prefer a woman to stay at home and be in her, but men prefer a woman to stay at home and be in her feminine energy. Oh my God, nails on the chalkboard. Or career women are just jealous that they don't have the option to stay at home. All of these talking points are men's talking points being laundered through a woman's voice. These are all talking points that keep women inside of a box and inside the patriarchy. As feminist as I am, just reading those quotes and knowing and understanding that those do get said to us, it definitely, yeah, that worked my nerves just a little bit. These communities also often criticize women's choices in life if she wastes her time on a career or education instead of getting married and having kids as soon as possible, is unmarried by her mid to late 20s, or isn't a virgin. They basically tell women that they're ruining their lives and throwing away their value, which they perceive as youth, by not settling down with kids and a husband ASAP, and then act and feel superior because they got married young and had kids. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom and your husband can afford to support you, then that's awesome. By all means, do what works for your family and makes you happy. If I ever have kids in the future, I really hope I have the privilege and support to take a few years off when they're young to stay at home or work part-time. But I won't feel better than working moms if I do. Instead, I would feel grateful to have the luck to stay at home for a while and respect the working moms for all that they juggle on a daily basis. Also, as someone who has been in an abusive relationship and has had female members of my family experience DV, I personally think it could be unwise to be a stay-at-home mom, tradwife with zero education, employable skills, backup plan. What happens if your husband cheats on you, becomes abusive, isn't the person you thought he was, or dies? Relying on a single person whose actions in life are outside of your control for your or your kids' lives, with zero education, work, or skills to get yourself out or stand up on your own 2 feet if needed, is a very odd thing to act smug about. So many women get trapped in unhappy marriages and abusive situations that they can't leave because of this, and yet they still feel superior to modern or career women. Do they not realize how they're perpetuating their own internalized misogyny? They may not know and understand how they are perpetuating their own internalized misogyny. They could be socialized to be saying these things. Religion and the patriarchy go hand in hand. Religion is a tool used to control women, and these women are socialized as girls. They are socialized to believe these talking points. That is the reason why deconstructing from religion is so important to everything. Because yes, you can be a stay-at-home mom. You can be a stay-at-home mom. Anybody can. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had a provider husband for years. But still, you can be all of that and not perpetuate the internalized misogyny and the patriarchy that some of these women spew. And then, like I have said, and like she has said, and it bears repeating time and time again, you need to have a plan B, C, D, E, elemental P, all of the plans. You need to have all of these plans because you never know. And we hear and see people talking about the tradwife life, and we'll see it put on video and social media, but we see those women in their 20s. And then on the back end, we see the women in their 40s saying, don't do this. It's hard to regroup. It is challenging. I'm in survival mode. I had to execute a plan. The women who have been through it all, solely dependent on somebody else for their survival, and then had to come out of that on the other side of the pipeline, being impoverished, being a single mother, not knowing and understanding how they were going to get back into the workforce. That sucks. And that's the reason why I will continue to have these conversations, because the tradwife to single mother pipeline is real. The tradwife to poverty pipeline is real. And you need to make sure that if you don't give a damn about your survival, that you do give a damn about your children's survival. Because yes, typically the mothers will be the ones that get custody and take care of the kids. Subject Day says, these women aren't actually happy with their choices. Women who are happily staying at home with their kids are sharing recipes and crafts on Pinterest, not showboating on TikTok trying to convince people that their way of life is superior. Heathen Americana says, ironically too, if they're influencers or content creators, they're career women. They are making money. Denarius Tart Guardian says, that's the part I find funniest, the hypocrisy. Some of these people have sponsorships and stuff. It's an entire enterprise. They aren't tradwives, they're business owners. Claire says, there was one a couple of months ago that was exposed. They didn't have kids and weren't married, just an act. Because they can cosplay as whatever. You can wake up and be whatever you want to be on social media. You can act like you're married and a trad wife. Who would even know? No one would know. I didn't know. I really want to know who this is, though. If you know who was exposed a couple of months ago and they were just acting, please let me know in the comments. Bengal Bear, the OP, says, haha, true, but they view their work as acceptable because it's not a 9 to 5. They're basically just selling their lifestyle and sense of superiority to people online, often while advertising random stuff, because they can sell stuff. They can sell stuff on their TikTok shop. Go Ask Allie says this part. Spontaneous Nub says, I stay at home. It's nice. I can write... Listen, I can write my novels and have my twins hanging off me like screaming limpets. Send help. Y'all, when my children were young and I was sitting up here, being a stay-at-home mom, not having a whole lot of support, it was challenging just writing an email. It is not whatever these trad wives make it out to be. It's not. It can sometimes be stress-inducing. It's challenging. The early years are definitely messy. So, yeah, I'm not one to glamorize the stay-at-homeness. I'm just not. But I am lucky that I was able to do it and pull it off. But still, it's not for everybody. Plus, also, I never look down on career moms or modern women or anything like that. So you would never see me spewing this type of stuff. And I know I probably don't have to make that caveat, but I am. Go Ask Allie says, I have twins too, but mine are older. Having twins is rough, especially newborns. Having twins just seems like nightmare fuel when you think about, especially if you are a breastfeeding mom. Whew. The OP says, that's so true. I guess the main people I'm referring to are the trad wife, stay-at-home mom influencers. And yes, they are definitely different, who are acting smug and superior about their choices while insulting other women for having a career. Absolutely, they're different groups of people. This person says what they're saying is that smugness does not come from happiness. It's inferiority complex and deep-seated insecurity, if anything. And Efferent Copy says is basically G-rated fetish content. All right. And we are going to leave it there. We've had these conversations before, but it is just a good reminder that, the patriarchy does brainwash people. Some of these people do launder these messages, and some of the messages are bunk and BS. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I had a couple of threads posted I wanted to get to. Nappy Black Art says, this ain't my business because I'm gay as F, but how are red pill men getting any peaches? I asked about that because they definitely don't make relationships with them sound appealing. So I'm wondering if it's just a sex thing. That doesn't sound appealing either, but I'm trying not to yuck anybody else's yum. And then History Through a Black Lens says, every time I've spoken to one on the apps accidentally, I've blocked them, so I don't know who it works on. I wanted to get to Pistachio Daydream's answer because I think that this is important to know and understand. She says either lie about their beliefs or attract women who were groomed in their childhood. Example, I was raised Mormon and have dated some horrible men. I was also taught to start thinking about my future as a good wife around 10 years old. The vast majority of church-sponsored activities for girls center maintaining virtue and practicing domestic skills because in that religion, it is very explicit that women's life purpose is to marry young and have as many babies as possible and be a good mother, to the point where you literally cannot get into heaven unless you have been married, had children, and were the model wife/mother. So I fell for horrible men even though I'd left the church, because even though on the surface level, I knew that I didn't want that life, the brainwashing ran deep. By the time I was able to say no to overtly red pill types, I hadn't learned enough discernment to see through men who lied about their values to get women. Brainwashed girls are like boiling frogs. This comment is so important to know and understand. So that's the reason why we have these discussions and we talk to various people about what they were raised in, how they were raised. And this is why I say that religion is so insidious, because it starts programming girls early. This woman thought that she had to be a good wife and mother and had to be married even in death to get to heaven. That is the brainwashing that starts deep. And they start at childhood because you are more impressionable to the programming through your childhood. So, like she said, she didn't have the discernment to see through these types of things because the red pill and the Theo bros, they overlap in many of the things that they talk about. A lot of their talking points mirror each other. So this is the reason why we have got to hold some space and grace for the women that were programmed to spew this misogyny and patriarchy and all of these talking points, because they are literally programmed to say this stuff, and we have to just break them out of that mold. Nappy Black Art says, damn, I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. But then Pistachio says, it's not about me specifically. It's about illustrating how it happens. I only know how to explain the phenomenon through lived experience, but this is very, very far from abnormal in white culture. Like, yeah, Mormons aren't the mainstream evangelicals, but I suspect mainstream evangelicals raise their children very similarly. So I just wanted to bring out Pistachio's experience just so people can know and understand how the programming runs deep, even though, yes, we have talked about this before. Unlearning says, I think they rely on the conditioning and internalized misogyny. Nappy Black Art says, I'm super curious to what it is because none of it sounds appealing. Like, how are they selling it? Because, and then she just kind of blank stares. But that's the thing. If you're not programmed to it, you'll see it and you'll be able to be like, red flag, red flag, red flag. But if you're raised and you see red flags as normal, it'll just be, normal life that you see. So that's the reason why we have to have these discussions. I'm segueing to this post from a woman named Always Scruffy. She says, signing papers when divorcing my husband, we were in a restaurant. He asked what I was up to this weekend. I said, my friends are taking me out for my birthday. He said, oh, when is your birthday? I replied, today. He said, I guess lunch is on me. Damn effing straight lunch is on you. Worst husband ever. And I'm doing this to illustrate the fact that so many people say women need to get married. They say single women are going to die alone. But how lonely would it be to be with a man that doesn't even know your birthday? Especially, when women manage all this stuff. Women manage birthdays. We manage knowing what people like to eat or dislike to eat. Women do this, and men can't even be, bothered to know their spouse's birthday. This person, Nima, says, when is your birthday? It's insane. Oh my God. Oh my actual God. Jesse Joy says, oh, when is your birthday? You could pull out my fingernails one by one and I still would not admit not knowing my spouse's birthday. Wild. Absolutely wild. But men and women are definitely different. And men who really can just go through life not knowing anything about their spouse, they're not shamed for it. But women, we just know these things. And that's one of the reasons why we are certainly better at being leaders, because we know and understand things and we can pick things out. These are your strengths. These are your weaknesses. But it takes knowing and understanding those other people versus just living your life for yourself. I know that's a tangent, but still. Core the Warrior says, meanwhile, I still have my first husband's social security number memorized, and I still know the birthdays of my previous significant others. At least my first husband couldn't forget our anniversary since it was on his birthday. All right, this person says, mine told me on our honeymoon that I was hard to be around. Some of these people, like I said, they don't deserve to have spouses. Maureen says, it's shocking because it's such basic knowledge to have about the person you thought you'd grow old with. And every damn phone has calendar reminders. Barbecue Ninja Warrior says, he didn't even know your birthday while married. He deserves a divorce and you deserve better. Candia says, divorcing that man, best birthday gift to yourself ever. And Always Scruffy says, it was. Keeping with the themes of inconsiderate husbands, we got Blessed Leah saying, for my husband's 50th birthday, I bought first class tickets to another state to see an NFL game in club seats while also staying at the same 4-star hotel the NFL team was staying at. For my 50th birthday, I got dinner at the restaurant I made a reservation for. I will not make the mistake of expecting my husband to celebrate me the way I celebrated him. My next birthday will be a trip solo. This really does make me sad that men just cannot be bothered to give a damn about their spouse. And it makes me sad because so many times women are pressed to get married because you're going to die lonely. But just imagine if you actually poured into yourself or poured into your friends group instead of pouring into this person that doesn't give a damn about you. Obviously, she said next birthday she's going to handle it herself. But, now she knows, stop giving to this person. And then maybe he'll catch a clue, maybe he won't. But then she'll need to decide for herself, is staying with somebody that is this inconsiderate, is that really the life path that you want to grow old with? Is that how you really want to spend the second half of your life with someone who can't even be bothered? Wild Irish Spirit says, one birthday I celebrated with my ex-husband for his birthday. I got him floor seats to a Celtics game for I, and his best friend growing up, who also loved basketball. For my birthday 4 months later, I got literally nothing for my birthday, but an excuse that he had no money. This happened for 12 years straight. He's my ex now, but the first birthday I spent alone was my 40th, and I went to the beach and watched the sunrise. Best birthday ever. Know your worth. I just do these sometimes as a reminder that you don't have to accept this, and you don't have to accept it 12 years straight. If you see that, you're married to someone that is inconsiderate and you choose to stay with that person, stop giving them all of these things. Just don't do these things for them anymore. Just be like, okay, and you match energy. And that's if you do decide to stay with someone who who doesn't give a damn about you. Don't give a damn about them. I mean, that sounds like a terrible way to be in a relationship, but we see all of this stuff. And we're going to see it again around Mother's Day, which is next month. We're going to see it again. We're going to see all of the posts of women being disappointed on Mother's Day. And we really got to stop that because, Mother's Day comes first. So match energy for Father's Day. And, like I said, we're going to see all of these posts that pop up with all of the disappointed women and all of that kind of stuff. But either start matching energy or start leaving these people where they are. Let me know what you think about these 3 posts. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.